A fluid is confined in a cylinder by a spring-loaded frictionless piston, so that the pressure in the fluid is a linear function of the volume P equal to AV plus B. The internal energy of the fluid is given by U equal to 34 plus 3.15 PV, where U is in kilojoule and this guy P is in kilopascal. This guy should also be in kilopascal and V is in meter cube. If the fluid changes from an initial state of 170 kilopascal and zero point 0.03 meter cube to a final state of 400 kilopascal and zero point 0.06 meter cube with no work other than that done on the piston, find the direction and magnitude of work and heat transfer. So they have given you the relationship between pressure and volume. That is one relationship. The other one is the relationship with reference to your internal energy in terms of pressure and volume. And they are asking you to find the direction and magnitude of work transfer and heat transfer. Okay, so once again, it is simple application of first law of thermodynamics, wherein Q is equal to delta U plus W. Okay, uh, so for delta U, you are going to use the relation U equal to 34 plus 3.15 PV. For W, you are going to use integral PDV. And we can use this because they have given that the fluid is confined in a cylinder, which means this is a closed system. So it is an example of closed system. So here W equal to integral PDV can be used. And we have to substitute for P over here, which will give you integral of AV plus B times dV. So you will have AV squared by 2 plus BV between the limits V1 and V2. So you will be getting A by 2 times V2 squared minus V1 squared plus B times V2 minus V1. Okay. So usually we start with the given details. The given details we have V1 as, okay, so for the given details, we should have started with the given details. So given V1 is 0.03 meter cube and P1 is given as 170 kilopascal, and you can see that it is the same value. No, the value is different. So if you look at P2, P2 has changed to 400 kilopascal, sorry, PA, and volume V2 is 0.06 meter cube. Okay, and they have given you two equations. One is for the relationship between pressure and volume. The other one is for the internal energy. Okay, so now if you can substitute the values over here, um, they have not given the values of A and B. Maybe I have skipped it. You should have the values of the constants A and B. Okay, so how do you get the values of constant? No, they won't give. We have to find out how to find the values of the constants A and B. Can anyone tell me how to get the value of A and B?
சார் P1 V1 வேல்யூஸ் அப்புறம் P2 P2 வேல்யூ சப்ஸ்டிட் பண்ணிட்டு ஈக்குவேஷன் சால்வ் பண்ணலாம் சார்.
Very good. So that is how we have to get it. Okay, so you have to use the basic equation or the equation that is given, P equal to AV plus B. So using that, we can rewrite this equation as AV1 plus B, and P2 is AV2 plus B. So here I can write this as 170 kilopascal, and A times V1 is 0.03 plus B, and here I can write this as 400 kilopascal, A times 0.06 plus B. Okay, so if I take these two equations, one equation is 0.03A plus B equal to 170 kilopascal. The other guy is 0.06A plus B is 400 kilopascal. So it would have been better if I had written the second equation above, because subtracting will be easy. So if I take this as 1 and this as 2, 1 minus 2 would give me 0.03A equal to 40 minus 17 would be 23, so that should be 230. And remember, this guy over here is kilopascal. So A is 230 by 0.03 kilopascal. So if you can use the calculator, 230 divided by 0.03, that gives you 7,766.67 kilopascal. So this is what we get for A. Then you can resubstitute this in say equation 1 or 2. So 0.03 times 7,666.67 plus B is equal to 170. So this guy multiplied by 0.03 is 230. 170 minus 230 is 60. So B is minus 60 kilopascal. Okay. So I think I'm consistent with units. So once you find out the values of this A and B, you can resubstitute it in this equation along with the values of the volume and see what value of work done that you get. So for the work done, you will be getting 7,666.67 divided by 2, and there is a 10 to the power 3 because it is kilopascal, multiplied by V2 is 0.06 squared minus 0.03 squared, and then we have plus B times, so that guy is minus, it is minus, so minus 60 times 10 to the power 3, 0.06 minus 0.03. So you would be getting some answer in kilojoule. Okay. So if you can check that, 1 is 0.06 squared minus 0.03 squared. That is this much. So you are getting 8.55 kilojoule. I'm not sure if it is the correct answer. So let's see. 8.55 kilojoules. I'm getting, yeah, that is what we are getting here also, 8.55 kilojoules. Okay, so we are able to get the work done. So the first thing that you have to identify is whether it is an open system or a closed system. So here it is a fluid which is confined to a cylinder piston arrangement, which means it is a closed system. They have given you the pressure volume relationship, so you can use W equal to integral PdB, and you can get the value of work done. So in this case, work done is positive, which means it is a work output. Okay, so what is the second part of the problem? The second part of the problem is to get the internal energy. So you can use U1 is equal to 34 plus 3.15 P1 V1. This is what a similar kind of thing which I asked you to do on your own, but none of you have done it. So this is 34 plus 3.15 multiplied by P1 is 170 into 10 to the power 3. That is not needed because you can just take it in kilopascal. I have said P is in kilopascal, so 3.15 into 170 into V1 is 0.03. So this would give you the value of U1. So you can check that from the calculator. 170 multiplied by 0.03 with 3.15 and added to 34. That gives you 50 kilojoules approximately. U2 is 34 plus 3.15 P2V2. So 34 plus 3.15, 400 multiplied by 0.06. So this should give you the next set of result. 400 into 0.06 multiplied by 3.15 plus 34, which is 109.6 kilojoules. So delta U is U2 minus U1 final state minus initial state, 109.6 minus 50. So that should be 59.6 kilojoules. Okay, so once you get the value of the internal energy, the change in internal energy and the work done, then you can use the first law of thermodynamics. Q is equal to delta U plus W. Delta U is 59.6. W is 8.55. So you will have a 5 over here. 6 plus 5 is 11. 9 plus 9 is 18. So 68.15 kilojoules. So this is your heat transfer. So you have got work output, heat addition, and an increase in internal energy with reference to this particular process. So we have got the magnitude of work transfer and heat transfer, and then they're asking find the direction. So the direction means, so here it is work is done by the system and in this case heat is added to the system. Okay, this is the solution that we have seen. Here they are getting 68.09. Okay, we have got 68.15. That's fine. Okay, So here there is a problem. A stationary fluid system goes through a cycle. I haven't shown you the figure. In the question it says, as shown in figure comprising the following processes. Process 1-2 is isochoric heat addition. Process 2-3 is adiabatic expansion to its original pressure with a loss of 70 kilojoule per kilogram in internal energy. Process 3-1 is isobaric compression to its original volume with heat rejection of 200 kilojoule per kilogram. Okay, so let's uh, put on hold. Let's put on hold this problem. And before proceeding this problem, I will just give you an introduction of how to draw the processes in the PV and TS diagram. So hope this whiteboard is visible to you. Okay, please listen very carefully. So now I'm going to tell you how you are supposed to draw the PV diagram for different processes. Okay, so we are going to have 5 processes we have seen. One is the constant volume process, which we call as isochoric. You have isochoric process. Okay, and then you have pressure equal to constant, which is isobaric process. And then you have temperature equal to constant, which is isothermal process. And then you have something called as isentropic process, where your entropy is constant. And we also call this as reversible adiabatic process. And the fifth one is polytropic process. And for temperature equal to constant, we can also call it as PV equal to constant. We have already seen how this guy is arrived at as PV equal to constant. For isentropic process, we call this as PV power gamma equal to constant. And this guy is PV power N equal to constant. Okay, now we are going to see how we are going to draw PV diagram for all these processes. Okay, so for the PV diagram, you have pressure in the y-axis and volume in the x-axis. Okay, and when you say volume is constant, it is just a vertical line. Okay, a simple vertical line. Either it goes from 1 to 2 or 2 to 1. So if you extend this, you will find that volume V1 is equal to volume V2, but state point 1 has got a different pressure P1 and state point 2 has got a different pressure P2. The volume is same, but the pressure is different. So this is volume equal to constant process, which is the isochoric process. Okay. Then we have the isobaric process where pressure is constant. So you have the pressure volume diagram where you have a horizontal line. So it is 1 to 2 or 2 to 1 in whichever direction you have the process. So that's why I'm not showing the arrow marks. Both are possible. You can have both. So if it is going to be 1 to 2, if it is 1 to 2, you can see that there is an increase in pressure. Okay, which means this is, when will you have an increase in pressure? When there is a heat addition. When there is a heat addition, your pressure will increase. Okay, and when there is heat rejection, your pressure will decrease. So 1 to 2 is constant volume heat addition, and in the next semester you will be talking about something called an Otto cycle. You're all familiar with the petrol engine. Just to give you an idea where this process is being used, so you have isentropic compression, then you have constant volume heat addition, then you have expansion, and then you have heat rejection. So this is a typical Otto cycle where you have the compression stroke, and then you have the combustion process at constant volume in a petrol engine. You would have studied this in Introduction to Mechanical Sciences. In petrol engine, you are just producing a spark during the combustion process. So during the combustion process, there is no increase in volume. You're not adding uh, anything in addition to the air fuel mixture which is already there inside the cylinder. You're just introducing a spark, the volume of which is negligible. So 2, 3, that is constant volume heat addition, which is the combustion process. Once the combustion takes place, that is going to push the piston in the downward direction. So that is the power stroke or the expansion stroke. And then you have the constant volume heat rejection 4-1, and after that you have the exhaust. Okay, so this is a typical Otto cycle. So 1 to 2 you will have heat addition. So 1 2 here is constant volume heat addition, and 2 to 1 here is constant volume heat rejection. Okay, so in a similar scenario here, you can see for a constant pressure process, it is a horizontal line. So 1 to 2, you can see that the volume is increased. Whenever the volume is increased, we call it as expansion. So this is isobaric expansion. And 2 to 1, that is going to be a reduction in volume, which is a compression process. So that is isobaric compression. A compression wherein the pressure is kept constant, but the volume is reduced. Okay. So this is, so you can see that in the y-axis, P1 is equal to P2. In the x-axis, you can see that you have a different volume at 1 and you have a different volume at 2, which is B1 and B2. Is that clear? And the third one, which you will have, is the isothermal process, PV diagram. Okay. And so your isothermal process, you can have a curve. Sorry, it's not a curve actually right now. A curve. It can be either 1 to 2 or it can be 2 to 1. Okay. So please remember this. So when you are drawing a PV diagram, you are going to have only these three curves. Either it will be a horizontal line, either you are going to have a horizontal line, or you are going to have a vertical line, or you are going to have a curve, an exponential curve. Okay. So nothing else. You won't have something like this. There is no linear line, or you're not going to have a line like this. You're not going to have something like this. No, you are going to have only three curves. Either it is a horizontal line, either it is a vertical line, or a horizontal line, or a curve. Okay, so only these three are going to have. And maybe in some problems they show you some linear curve, that is a hypothetical situation. But for these processes that we see, you have either a horizontal line or a vertical line or a curve. So that will be similar here also. So for an isentropic process also, you will have a curve. The only thing is the location will be different. Okay, I'll show that also. So here also you have a curve. So for a polytropic process also, you are going to have a curve. But there will be a slight variation in the slope of these three curves. That's all. Okay. So here, for all these three, let's say you have 1 to 2 or 2 to 1. So 1 to 2, you can see that there is an increase in pressure and there is a reduction in volume. So for this, I'll show you. For the other one, for the rest, you can do it yourself. So this is P2V2, and you can see this guy is P1 and this guy is V1. P1 V1 and P2 V2. Okay, so this is the isothermal process, and this is in the form of a curve. Okay, so when you move from 1 to 2, you can see that there is an increase in pressure and reduction in volume, which is obviously a compression process. During a compression, you're reducing the volume, and because of the reduction in volume, your pressure and temperature goes up. So your 1 to 2 is, if it is isothermal, you are going to call it as isothermal compression. And in the next semester, when you do applied thermodynamics, you will be talking about reciprocating air compressors, where you will be talking about this isothermal compression process. Though we will not be able to achieve isothermal compression process in nature, we take that as a standard and a reference because that will help us in multi-stage compression in achieving intercooling. You will not be able to understand it now. I'm just giving you an idea where this isothermal compression comes into picture. Similarly, 2 to 1, so opposite of compression, that is going to be expansion. So you have a drop in pressure and the volume increases. This is similar to the expansion process in your petrol or diesel engine. So this is isothermal expansion. Okay, so similarly you can write for these guys also. For the isentropic process and the polytropic process also, you can write 1 to 2, it is isentropic compression. 2 to 1, it is isentropic expansion. 1 to 2, it is polytropic compression. 2 to 1, it is polytropic expansion. Is that clear? We are just having three types of curves. One is a horizontal line, one is a vertical line, and one is a curve. Please don't make any mistakes here. Okay, and I have also shown you what does it mean if we are going from 1 to 2, and what does it mean if we are going from 2 to 1. Okay, kindly make a note of it. Very, very important. Okay, so I have already discussed this before, but now I'll show you here clearly. We have 5 processes, right? So let's say let me say this is 2A. Let me call it as 2B. Let me call it as 2C, and let me call this as 2D. Okay, so can anyone tell me what is this process 1, 2?
Isobaric.
Isobaric.
Okay, so it is isobaric, and we can see that there is an increase in volume, so this is isobaric expansion. Okay, let's skip 1, 2B, 1, 2C for the time being, and let's go to 1, 2D. So what does this 1, 2D?
Isochoric.
Isochoric. What kind of process is this? This is heat addition or heat rejection?
Heat
Rejection.
Heat
rejection.
Okay, just now we saw that it is isochoric heat rejection. Okay, and as I told you, you will either have a horizontal line or a vertical line or a curve. But depending upon the slope, you can see that this slope is different, this slope is different, and this slope is different. So depending upon the slope, these guys change. Okay, so now I'm going to show you, you can take the general equation PV power n equal to constant. We have already discussed this slightly in one of the class. When your n is equal to 0, it is PV power 0 equal to constant. Anything power 0 is 1. So this gives you pressure equal to constant. Okay, and let's take another guy where n is equal to 1, where PV power 1 equal to constant. V power 1 is V. So that is PV equal to constant. We know that PV equal to constant is a guy which represents temperature equal to constant, which means this guy is isothermal. Okay. And if N is equal to say 1.2, just to give you some value. So PV power 1.2 equal to constant. So this is similar to PV power N equal to constant. So this guy is supposed to be a polytropic process. And then you have, so this is polytropic. And say N equal to 1.4. Why 1.4? I have gamma. We haven't done this yet very clearly, but I have given you some introduction. This gamma is nothing but a ratio of specific heat. Ratio of specific heats. Specific heat at constant pressure divided by specific heat at constant volume. And the value of gamma for air is 1.4, just like the value of R for air is 287 joule per kilogram Kelvin. And just like Cp is 1005 joule per kilogram Kelvin, this guy gamma is 1.4 for air. Okay. And this gamma is equal to 1.4. So when n equal to 1.4, we can say 1.4 equal to constant, or otherwise we can also call it as PV power gamma equal to constant, which means this guy is isentropic process. Okay. And the last guy is actually, I'm not sure if I can take this. Yeah, I can take this. Let me put it over here for the time being. N is equal to infinity. You can't substitute PV power infinity equal to constant directly. I'll show you the proof of it in the next page. And this guy is isochoric. Now, can anyone volunteer and help me out in fixing which guy is supposed to be isothermal, which guy is supposed to be isentropic, and which guy is supposed to be polytropic? I need the help of one student. I'll give you a clue. It starts with n equal to 0 and it ends at n equal to infinity. So what should 1, 2a be? So this guy should be n equal to 1, and this guy should be n equal to 1.2, and this guy should be n equal to gamma. So 1, 2a is supposed to be isothermal expansion. Sorry about that. So this guy is supposed to be isothermal expansion. This guy is supposed to be polytropic. The next one is supposed to be isentropic expansion. The last one, we don't call it as expansion because the volume remains constant, and so we call it as a heat rejection process. Okay. Any doubts here? I'll show you how this n equal to infinity, how we say n equal to infinity is isochoric process. I'll show you that next. As far as the PV diagram is concerned, is that clear how we classify them from n equal to 0, how we arrange them from n equal to 0 to n equal to infinity? Is that clear? Any doubts here? Okay. So similarly, you can also draw the diagram and the other way around. So now what we have done is for the expansion process. You can do it for the compression process also. So now if you guys are able to understand this PV diagrams, then it will be very easy for you to solve the problem. So it is the other way around. If you guys are very clear about this, then using the PV diagram will become very simple for you guys. Okay. So we can call this as 2. I'm moving from 1 to 2, so that is my isobaric expansion. Sorry, it should be the other way around. This guy is supposed to be, this guy is supposed to be 1 and this guy is supposed to be 2. So 1 to 2 is isobaric compression, and here this would be 1 to D, which is isobaric heat addition, and this would be 2A, which is isothermal compression, 2B polytropic compression, 2C isentropic compression, and 2D is isobaric heat addition. Okay, you can write this in the similar way, and once again, this will be from n equal to 0 to n equal to infinity. So this guy would be n equal to 1. So this guy will be n equal to 1.2, and this guy will be n equal to gamma. Okay, so this picture you can for this you can refer to Thermal Engineering by Mahesh M. Rathur. And you can, if you're if you want to purchase a book, if you're looking for a textbook to purchase, you can purchase this. And this will be useful to you both in this engineering thermodynamics course and in the applied thermodynamics course, which is coming in the next semester. Okay. So let me show you the proof for this n equal to infinity. So in a general equation, PV power n equal to constant, when n is equal to infinity, I told you this is isobaric process. I have already shown this in the class before, and I'll show you again. Okay. So for PV power n equal to constant, let me say P1 V1 power n equal to P2 V2 power n. I can write it like this. And so I can write P2 by P1 is V1 by V2 to the power n, or I can say V1 by V2 is P2 by P1 whole to the power 1 by n. And now substitute n equal to infinity in the above equation. And if you do that, you will have V1 by V2 equal to P2 by P1 whole to the power 1 by infinity. And mathematically, 1 by infinity is called as 0. So you have P2 by P1 to the power 0. Anything power 0 is 1. So this guy is equal to 1. And so which means V1 is equal to V2. When V1 is equal to V2, we call it as a constant volume process. And that is why when you say n equal to infinity, that is an isobaric process. Is that clear? So let me proceed. So now let's go back to this problem. Okay. I'll stop sharing this. What happened to that? Okay. So now this is going to be a simple assignment for you right now. So now, even if it takes time, it's okay with me, but I want to check whether you have understood it or not. So now you guys are going to draw this particular 3 processes. The first one is isobaric heat addition. The second one is adiabatic expansion. I have told you, whenever you find this word adiabatic, it means reversible adiabatic expansion, which means it is an isentropic expansion process. And then you have, you can say, you need not take it as isentropic expansion. You can simply take it as adiabatic expansion, which is similar to a polytropic expansion process, because though you say adiabatic expansion, you can't take, you can't use the equation PV power gamma equal to constant unless or otherwise it is specified as isentropic. But the curve, it will be similar to isentropic. Process 3.1, isobaric compression, which is pressure equal to constant. Now, what I want you to do is, everyone take your notebook, paper, pencil, draw this. I don't want to use scale and then draw it very neatly. Let it be a rough sketch. I want to see how you guys are doing. Okay. I want to know whether you are able to draw this isochoric heat addition. You need to mark the state point 1, 2. First, you draw it separately. You need not draw it as a cycle. Draw it separately. Draw process 1, 2. So something like this. So PV, then there would be some curve over here, and whatever, wherever you have 1, 2, mark that, and then you draw another PV diagram and show me for 2, 3, and then draw another PV diagram. And okay, let's come back here. So now we are supposed to form this as a cycle. Process 1, 2, it is isochoric heat addition. So this is isochoric heat addition, which means because it is isochoric, it is supposed to be a vertical line. Where should I put 1? Where should I put 2? It is heat addition, which means the pressure will increase when heat is added. So it should be like this. So this should be by isochoric heat addition. Now the problem is where to place this vertical line, whether it is closer to the y-axis, which is represented as pressure, or away from the y-axis. So that you can fix only after looking at the second process, 2, 3. So this guy is an adiabatic expansion, which means the pressure is supposed to reduce. So, okay, I'll draw it here itself. So if I have drawn over here, then during the expansion process, we know that the pressure will drop, pressure will reduce, and during the expansion process, the volume will increase. So the expansion will happen like this. So it is supposed to be a curve. Okay. And some students will have confusion over here. Let's do both and let's see what is correct. I have drawn 1, 2 over here. This is for isochoric heat addition. And then there is expansion. But when you are drawing like this, for 2 to 3, your pressure is reducing. But check the volume. What happens to the volume? The volume is getting reduced. Initially, the volume is V2. Now the volume is V3. And this V3 is lesser than V2, which means this guy is not a proper expansion. There is a drop in pressure, but there is a decrease in volume. And you can very well say that this is such a kind of process possible?
No, sir.
Such a kind of process is not at all possible. Okay, so this is not going to happen. Okay, just give me a second. I'll check with, okay, we have drawn correctly over here. This kind of process, this is not going to happen in nature. Okay, so that is why this diagram is wrong. So 2 to 3 should be like this. Okay, the third one is isobaric compression. So isobaric is supposed to be a horizontal line. When they say compression, it should be from here to here. So the volume should reduce. So V1 should be lesser than V3. And they are saying that it is going back to its original volume, which is V1. So now all that you have to do is join these two. Sorry, I'm not able to join it properly. So this is supposed to be a horizontal line. which goes from 3 to 1. So this is how you draw the PV diagram. Is that clear? So just because your friends have shared it, most of you have drawn it, but you have to practice this a lot on your own. So if you take Mahesh M. Rathur or some other standard textbook, you can see similar kind of problems where the processes are given and they ask you to draw the PV diagram. You can try them and see if you are able to draw the PV diagram properly. Okay. So now that we have drawn this PV diagram, so now let's see what they are asking us to solve in this particular problem. Okay. So we have the processes are given, and now let's read through and see what needs to be done. So for process 1 to isoharic heat addition of 235 kilojoule per kilogram. So there is a heat addition during this Q12. So Q12, there is a heat addition which is positive. So this guy is 235 kilojoule per kilogram. So there is a heat addition over here. Okay. The next guy is adiabatic expansion. What do you mean? So if it is adiabatic, what about Q23? Can anyone tell me what is the value of Q23 for an adiabatic process?
0, sir.
So for an adiabatic process, there is no heat transfer, so Q23 is 0. And it is coming back to its original pressure with a loss of 70 kilojoule per kilogram. So delta U23. So there is a loss, which means decrease in internal energy. So minus 70 kilojoule per kilogram. So that is given to us in the problem. The third one is isobaric compression with heat rejection. So you are going to have heat rejection here. So Q31 heat rejection is negative minus 200 kilojoule per kilogram. So this is what we have. This is what is given to us in the problem. Now they want us to find a balance sheet of energy quantities and find the overall change during the cycle. What do you mean by the balance sheet? In the last class, we saw a table. So we are supposed to draw a table. So what is the first column? The first column is process. The second column is, let's say, Q in kilojoule per kilogram. And then let's say delta U in kilojoule per kilogram. Sorry, if it is kilojoule per kilogram, what should be the notation? Most of you are not following it. It should be small q because it is per kilogram basis. So this is small u. And then small w because kilojoule per kilogram. So this is the table that you have to draw. So this is what they mean when they say it is a balance sheet. Okay. And then you can fill this table. So the first process is 1, 2. The second process is 2, 3. The third process is 3, 1. And here they have given the value is 235. This guy is 0. And this guy is minus 200. Here delta U is, nothing is given about delta U. And here this guy is minus 70. That's all. Can anyone tell me what is the work done in case of process 1, 2?
Yes, 0, sir.
What is the work done in case of process 1, 2? Someone said something? Hey, classல கவனிக்கிறீங்களா இல்லையாடா? ஒருத்தனுமே பாய் திறக்க மாட்டேங்கிறீங்க.
Sir, 0, sir.
Sir, 0,
எனக்கு
sir.
சொல்றதுக்கு
There is no
என்னப்பா?
DV.
Work done is 0 because it is a constant volume process. What happened to everyone? The class வேண்டாம்னா சொல்லு, நான் மூடிட்டு போயிடுறேன் நானு. I'll close the class and go. Unless or otherwise you guys are interactive, then there is no point in taking the class. Work done for a constant volume process. So isochoric process means volume equal to constant. So dV equal to 0. So W is equal to 0. So now you can write a simple first law of thermodynamics. Q12 is equal to delta U12 plus W12, which means here this guy is 235 This guy we do not know, and this guy is 0, which means delta U12 is also 235. Okay, so now we have completed the first process. So in the first process, everything is known. You can write a similar kind of thing for the second process also. Q23 is delta U23 plus W23. Q23 is 0. Delta U23 is minus 70, and W23 we have to find. So W23 is 70 kilojoule per kilogram. So this guy is 70. And now we have to find out what is delta U and what is W. You can solve this problem in two ways. For W, you can say summation of Q over here, 235 minus 200 is 35 kilojoule. This is a cycle, so summation of Q over a cycle should be equal to summation of W over a cycle. So summation of W is also supposed to be 35. So W, summation of W will be W12 plus W23 plus W31. And summation of W is 35, 12 is 0, this guy is 70, and W31 we do not know. So W31, it is going to be minus 35 kilojoule per kilogram. So this guy is minus 35. And you can sort this out in two ways. So Justin, can you tell me how will you find delta U31? What are the two ways by which you can find delta U31?
Sir, one is by
இருக்கியா ஓடியாச்சா இருக்கியா
sir,
இங்கதான்
இருக்கேன் sir.
சொல்லு எப்படி delta U31 கண்டுபிடிப்ப? What are the two methods by which you will find it out?
Sir, one is first law, sir, Q is equal to del U plus W12, sir.
The second one is
Second one is sir, summation of sir.
சொல்லு.
So summation of all internal energy is equal to 0, sir.
That's it. போன கிளாஸ்ல தான் நான் கேட்டேன். That is why I'm asking you.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
still you are struggling. You should be confident. So summation of delta U is equal to 0 for a cycle, which means delta U12 plus delta U23 plus delta U31. This guy should be equal to 0. Sorry, all these are small u's. Okay. This is kilojoule per kilogram. So this is 235 minus 70 plus delta U31. Delta U31, this is equal to 0. So 235 minus 70, that would be, so here you will have 135 gone, and that would be 165. So when you take it to the other hand, it will be minus 165. Minus 165 kilojoule per kilogram. The units are very important. So this guy is minus 165. And when you add it, you get 0. This part of solving the problem is very simple. Preparing the balance sheet is very simple. This you will be able to do. But this PV diagram is where you will struggle. That is why I wanted to check every one of you, but you guys are not cooperating. So unless or otherwise you come along with me, it will be very difficult. Okay. So you can do this. So similar kind of problem we solved yesterday also. They simply asked you to fill the table. Here they give you the processes. They ask you to draw the PV diagram, and they ask you to create a table. That's all. Very, very simple. So this is how you will find a typical question in your semester exam. This is the kind of question you will be getting. Normally, they will give you 3 or 4 processes in a cycle. They will ask you to draw the PV diagram. They'll ask you to find the heat transfer, work transfer, change in internal energy in all these processes, either in the form of table or just in just by applying the first law of thermodynamics. They'll ask you to show the methodology. That's all. Okay. So this is your example 6. So you can see the solution over here. So just like we found out, so this is the solution which I'll share with you. Okay. So till now, what we have seen is the first law applied to the different processes. And so far, we have discussed about W equal to integral PdV for various processes. This we have done already. Okay. And still, I am not sure whether all of you are comfortable with this W equal to integral dV for the various processes which we have seen, where pressure equal to constant, volume equal to constant, temperature equal to constant, entropy equal to constant, and PV power n equal to constant. For all these processes, I have shown you the derivation of the work done. Okay. So apart from this work done, you should also know what will be the formula for heat transfer for these various processes. What will be the change in internal energy for these processes? What will be the change in enthalpy for these processes? What will be the change in entropy for these processes? All these you should know. Okay, and that is what we will see now. Okay, so we will start with isochoric process. Very important, very important. Using this only we are going to solve the problem. Some equations are going to be very basic, and that you should remember, that will automatically go into your memory if you start solving a lot of problems. So we have seen this. So for a constant volume process, this is how it will be. 1 to 2 is heat addition, and 2 to 1 is heat rejection. And this is for an isochoric process. And I have showed you volume is equal to constant. For an ideal gas equation of state, we know that PV by T is equal to constant. So for a closed system, PV is equal to MRT. So for a closed system, mass is constant, R is already a constant, so PV by T is equal to MR, and because both these guys are constant, we can call it as constant. We have already seen this when we talked about ideal gas equation of state. So PV by T equal to constant, which means I can write P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. Okay, and because volume is constant, I can cancel out these two guys. Volume is constant, volume is same, V1 is equal to V2, so I can cancel these two, which means I get P2 by P1 is equal to T1 by T2. Sorry, T2 by C1. Sorry about that. So this guy is supposed to be T2 and this guy is supposed to be T1. Okay, so sometimes this relationship will also be necessary to find. They will give you the value of pressure and temperature for one state point and maybe temperature for the other state point. Then you have to find out the pressure of state point 2. So you will be needing this particular relationship. You need not memorize this relationship. You have to simply remember that PV by T equal to constant, and then use that to find, use that and apply P1 V1 by T1 equal to P2 V2 by T2, and you will get this relationship. You need not memorize this. Okay, you can just derive this by your own, on your own. Okay, this is for the state point. Now we have already seen W equal to integral PdV, and for the constant volume process, dV is equal to 0, so work done is 0. We have already seen this. Now let's look at the change in internal energy. The change in internal energy, if you look at the definition, we defined CV as partial u partial t at constant v, if you remember. And then we said you can write this as du by dt. And then we said du is Cv times dt. Remember, this is specific heat, which means it's a specific property. It's not multiplied by mass at. And this is specific internal energy. So U is equal to Cv times, sorry, delta U is equal to Cv times T2 minus T1 or delta T1. So if it is capital delta U, delta capital U, it has to be multiplied by mass times Cv T2 minus T1. And C, it is a constant volume process. So change in internal energy, you can write this as mCv times T2 minus T1. Okay. And similarly, Q here is again mCv T2 minus T1. And we use Cv because it is a constant volume process. If it is a constant pressure process, we will use Cp. And if you have a confusion whether it is Cv or Cp, just apply the first law of thermodynamics. In the first law of thermodynamics, this is very clear that from the definition of delta U, this guy is mCv into T2 minus T1. Work done here is 0. So Q is automatically mCv into T2 minus T1. Okay, you can apply the first law of thermodynamics and check if what you have written is right or wrong. So this is your heat transfer. So we have seen heat transfer, we have seen change in internal energy. What about delta H? What about delta H? So delta H, which is change in enthalpy. So change in enthalpy would be, according to the definition, that is with reference to specific heat. So Cp is partial H, partial T at constant P. Okay, so your dH would be Cp times dt following the same procedure. So dH would be mCp times dt or mCp times sometimes it is auto saving itself and at that time it's not writing properly. mCp times T2 minus T1. Okay, so here delta H would be mCp times T2 minus T1. Okay, and for the time being, you can believe me and take the definition of this change in entropy, because change in entropy, we haven't studied it yet. We haven't defined what entropy is. That we will be able to define only when we talk about the second law of thermodynamics. For the time being, you can accept me that entropy is a property, and you can just believe me that what I'm saying is right and accept that the definition of this delta S is dq by t, or ds is integral of dq by t. Okay, sorry. So this guy is supposed to be q by t. Okay, delta S is q by t, ds is integral of dq by t. You know that W is integral PdV and Q is integral TdS. Now I want ds, and so I'm writing this as ds is integral of dq by t. Okay, so that is how we get this equation, and we will be talking about this a little bit later on. So for the time being, you accept what I'm saying is right. So if you take the definition of ds is integral of dq by t, this guy dq is mcv into dt. When I say dq, this becomes dt. So this is mcv into dt by t, and this mcv is a constant which can be taken out, which is integral of dt by t. So that is ln of t, mcv into ln of t between the limits t1 and t2. So it is mcv ln of t2 by t1. So mcv into ln of t2 by t1. Okay, so we have seen what delta H and what delta S for the isochoric process. Okay, so I